Hello, welcome to my home. If you're new here, my name is Karen. Today you're going to get to see one of my teenagers help me around the house doing some cleaning, and I bet if you've been here a while, you can guess which one. And also my husband is doing some work in our upstairs bathroom because we are remodeling our main bathroom. But first, I'm getting a recipe in the crock pot. There is nothing I love more with the cooler weather than having a warm meal at the end of the day. And you know, this time of year you can get pretty tired, so using the crock pot is always a great idea. And today I am making a low carb chicken cacciatore. So if you're not low carb, you could add some pasta to it or some rice, but if you are low carb, you're gonna love this one. It was the first time I ever made it and I loved it. I ate it 3 days in a row. I'm getting a red bell pepper chopped up and put in first. And if you have green bell pepper, that would work just as well. It really doesn't matter. I used red because that's what I had in the house. Once I get that red bell pepper into the crock pot, I'm grabbing a package of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. The recipe calls for 4 7-ounce boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Well, my chicken thighs are about 4 ounces. I have a family pack, so it turned out that if I took 2 of the thighs out of the family pack, it was just about perfect. These low-carb recipes that I've been sharing lately, they are all Optavia recipes. That is the health program that I have been on, the health program that helped me to lose over 100 pounds. But so many of us are low-carb or trying to eat lower carb that I thought it would be good for all of us. So once I put in the boneless, skinless chicken thighs, I also put in 2 cloves of garlic minced, and now I am chopping 2 scallions. You might call those green onions. So I'm just getting those chopped up and put in. As it turns out, green onions or scallions, whatever you call them, they are lower carb than straight onions. So they are better for you if you are pursuing a lower carb life. Next, I am going to cut up 1 cup of white button mushrooms. I always buy the mushrooms that are pre-washed and pre-sliced, and the reason I do that is I never feel confident cleaning mushrooms that I have really gotten them clean. So it's about a cup, and if you don't like mushrooms, you could leave this out and you wouldn't even miss it. I absolutely love mushrooms, so I was only too eager to put those in, even though that meant some people in my family were not going to choose this to eat for supper tonight. It's okay. They can have something different. Next, I am adding 1 14.5-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes. I'm not blending them up. I'm just putting them in. If you prefer them completely liquefied, you could do that. To that, I'm going to add 1 bay leaf, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Now, the recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of fresh basil chopped. I didn't have that, so I just sprinkled some in and measured with my heart. It also calls for 2.5 cups of zucchini noodles, but you're going to want to add those about 20 minutes before you're going to eat. And this is what it looks like in the crock pot, and I'm going to let that simmer for 6 to 8 hours. So let's check out what Robin is doing in the bathroom. If you've been following along with our DIY journey, he already has gotten the old tub and shower surround out and put in a new one. And then we completely stripped this ceiling. We actually had a textured ceiling when we moved in. We have replaced the fan so many times. Well, now that's not actually true. I guess it's only been a couple times. It just doesn't feel like it's very easy to get a good fan. That's what he's doing right now. He is replacing the fan light combo. I feel like this has always been a very wet bathroom, and it's always been hard to keep it dry. It's always been hard to have a fan that is actually good enough, no matter how much money we spent. So we tend to not buy the cheapest, but we definitely don't buy the most expensive one either. So he had taken the ceiling down, taken it right to the studs, as you can see. Now he's putting the fan in, and then he's going to start replacing the ceiling with the planks that I had purchased really quite a while ago. It is just so hard to find time to do a DIY with a busy family. There's always so many things going on. In fact, last weekend we had a wedding, so this was from the previous weekend. As you know, I've been absent from the channel, and I do have to apologize. I want to take time to just thank each of you that have reached out and inquired if I'm okay. That is just so very sweet of you to do. I thank you so very much. It started out that I had a problem with my laptop cord, and I'm also having a problem where I had to upgrade or do the update for my iMovie on my MacBook Pro. My MacBook Pro is now a few years old. Well, once I had to do the update because I wasn't able to edit anything. It wasn't working at all. But since I've done the update, I'm having a problem with the whole thing just crashing. So that's happening. Plus, my cord died. So I went to Best Buy to get a new cord, and I was like asking the guy, which cord to get. And he was like, well, it really depends. You have to go into your settings, oh my goodness, and find out exactly what you have so we know what cord to recommend. And I'm like, I can't go in my settings because my laptop is powered down. Like, it died, and my cord can't bring it back to life because I need a new cord. So I got a new cord there. I did the best I could. My husband got the model number. We tried to figure out how many watts we needed. They didn't even have the wattage there. They just don't have a ton in stock anymore. And so I did the best I could. I got it home. It didn't work. So then I ordered one on Amazon because I've ordered one before, but I thought, well, if the one at Best Buy didn't work, what makes me think the Amazon one would work? And it was like $50 cheaper, of course. So I don't know why that is, but it's a blessing. So I got that cord in, and wouldn't you know, it worked. Thank goodness. Well, by the time I got the cord working and everything functioning on the computer, my son, who is in college, Francois, came home for the week because he is in or was in a wedding. And I was the church hostess for the wedding, which means I had to be there whenever anyone was decorating or anyone from the wedding party or anybody was in the building at all. So I was there for the decorating of the rehearsal dinner. My husband and I were kind of tag teaming it a little bit. He was doing the night shift for me and I was doing the day shift. And then, of course, we had the wedding, which was absolutely beautiful. Life just kind of took off and got very busy. And I wasn't able to get editing. I wasn't able to film. There just was so many things going on. So then anytime I do take a break from YouTube, I do have a hard time kind of getting my brain back into it. I'm not quite sure what that is. If you're a creator, I'd love to know if you struggle with that too. It's kind of like you got out of the water for a while, you were out swimming, and now you're not used to the cold water and you're having a hard time getting your feet back in. It's exactly how it feels. And y'all know that I had been struggling too with some just tiredness with the changing seasons. And later in the video, I'm going to give you a little bit more detail because I feel like I'm not being completely honest, and I've really thought about how I want to communicate this. So anyway, here is the new ceiling going up. It is kind of like a beige and gray with a cream background.
So I'm going to start over here and coming this way. One board doesn't reach all the way across, right?
Uh-huh.
So basically what you have to do is go out, decide where you want to cut off, and then you use the extra pieces as well to continue, right?
Uh-huh.
So I can go by the strapping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could go long, and the next one, the next one, and the next one. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd have 5 pieces in. I'd be almost over to here, but it would be staggered back each one.
I think what looks good from here this way is most important. Because when you walk in the room,
right,
this is what you see.
So you think it would be better to maybe start short here and come long in the middle?
The longs should be closer to the windows, what you're saying. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you're going to get right here, and it's all going to be short, so that's not going to make a whole lot of difference.
I guess I don't know.
I'm just saying, so the other option to just keep a pattern going is instead of going 1 to go 2, right? So I come out to here, right?
Why aren't you using the whole length?
It doesn't go all the way across. Here, I'll show you. That's a full piece right there. So it only goes to like just in between those last 2 barriers.
Right. So you're trying to make a pattern design and something pretty, is that what you're trying to do?
Not necessarily pretty, but something that doesn't look off.
Did you look it up online?
Yeah, I can do that.
I really don't know what to say because I can't picture it
All right,
right now.
I'll go look on.
I'm curious if anyone else can relate to that conversation. Honestly, I was having a hard time following what he was even telling me. Like, I know he was just deciding where to put long and where to put short. But then when I answered him, I just felt like we weren't really communicating, if that makes sense. I do have a hard time picturing things, especially if someone is just telling me. I would have had to have him draw it on a piece of paper, and I honestly did not even have the mind framework to say, I need you to draw it on a piece of paper. So I told him to go ahead and look online and see what other people do in this situation. This is where YouTube is just invaluable to us, because that way I can see it too. Like, he can pull it up, he can find a video and go, okay, this is what I'm talking about. We used YouTube videos to help us with the tub, the surround. Anytime we would get into a little snafu and didn't know what to do, we would go straight to YouTube and get a couple of videos on how to put in a tub and shower surround. And a lot of times it does take some time because they're not exactly doing what you can relate to or what yours looks like. You know, they'll be like, put in a tub and shower in 1 hour. Yeah, right. 1 hour. Are you kidding me? Well, it's an hour video maybe, but it doesn't take an hour, that's for sure. Or they might just have tools we don't even have access to. There's so many factors there that are just something we can't relate to. But let me just tell you the intention for this bathroom. I grew up on the coast of Maine, so the ocean is very special to me. It's just, we're all, just so many good memories are on the ocean. We live about an hour and 15 minutes from the ocean right now, but we do live in a lake community. So I feel like water, you know, we at least have that similarity. So what I'm thinking whenever I do any decorating in the house is I am thinking about the ocean. I used to have the walls that were kind of sand colored, but then I decided to go more toward gray. But I was kind of thinking coastal glam, which is why I have mirrored pieces. I have a TV stand that's mirrored. The end tables in my bedroom are mirrored. Things that are just a little bit more, I want to say fancy. I have a very kind of big light piece over my dining room table that looks like seashells hanging down. So the ocean is just what makes me happy. And so that's kind of how I'm decorating the house. Not necessarily, you know, the anchors and the pictures of seashells and starfish and all of that. I mean, that might come later, but more just a vibe of being in a beach house. This was all that Robin had time for on this day, so we ended up covering the rest of the ceiling with plastic, and it will just have to happen another day, and that's just the reality. That's why this is definitely never going to be a DIY channel, because we just do not have the time to commit. So while Robin is finishing up there, I'm downstairs putting together another simmer pot. I love to have nice clean smells in the home, and I am a little sensitive to candles. I do find if the candle has a food smell, but if it has any type of a floral scent, I really get headaches and I have a hard time. I love the idea of a simmer pot also because I don't want to use essential oils and worry about which essential oil is okay for cats and which ones are not okay for cats. So I didn't want to do simmer pots on the stove because, again, cats, and they don't really walk on the countertops. They're always on the island. It's so annoying. But they don't tend to walk on the counters, but there was one time when Woozy was younger that he walked across the stove and he burnt his little feet. Oh, it was so sad. So I do get very nervous if I'm not in the kitchen when things are being cooked or if I don't know where the cats are. So I would never put a simmer cat. I would never put a simmer pot on the stove for that reason. So I got this little crock pot and I am loving it. It is in my Amazon store that I'll have linked in the description box if you're looking for one. But, you know, any small crock pot would do. I just definitely did not spend a lot of money. So I was thinking, what would be good smell? So I was thinking citrus and mint. So I cut up a lemon, a lime, and a clementine or mandarin orange. And then I wanted mint because I feel like mint is very energizing, but I didn't have any mint sprigs. So what I decided to do was to take a couple of mint tea bags and add the tea bags. So then I was thinking, boy, if I do ever have tea that expires, which happens once in a while, we go through tea phases and then everybody's out of the phase or they like a different flavor. And so things can expire. But now, if things are expiring, I'm going to make it into a little simmer pot, and it will spread a very nice smell. And I did really love this one of citrus and mint. I think I would definitely do it again. It's also super satisfying to kind of look in. So I'm going to show you the top shot. Look at that. Doesn't that look so, I don't know, it's just so attractive. And this day, as I said, I've been tired lately. Yvonne told me that she would help me. So she is doing the dishes for me. She's going to empty the dishwasher. And then she also offered to clean the upstairs bathroom. And I will tell you, this is a different day than the day that you saw Robin working in the bathroom. So you've seen me have 15 clothing changes by now, but this is definitely a different day. So she's emptying the dishwasher, and I am just cleaning up around the kitchen. And I thought I would give you a little shot of kind of what my house sounds like when we're together and cleaning.
These are such cute little cups, which I'll have in my Amazon storefront.
Oh, it is on my Amazon. So what I put there?
You should, because these are literally so cute.
Yvonne is just so funny. So most of the time that she was cleaning, she wasn't talking at all. She just was all business on this day. And I really did appreciate her help. She is very good at cleaning. And I know where she works when she does the cleanup. They're always super happy that she was closing. So whenever she gets a job, especially in any type of food or coffee service, they always want her to be the closer because she does such a great job cleaning. And I know sometimes she gets sick of it, but she does do a really wonderful job. I have had a little extra struggle lately that is far and above just being tired and just from the seasons. And so since I did share that I was feeling tired, that I was struggling a little bit, I wanted to give you a little bit more detail. I had to think hard about what I can share on the internet. Of course, if it comes to all of you who watch regularly and are my friends and are commenting in the comments, I know not all of my friends here comment, which is fine. I rarely comment on other videos, so I am not one to say anything. But anyway, I know you all are my friends, and if you and I were sitting together having coffee at a coffee house, I would probably share a lot more, but I always have to be aware of who else is watching and listening, and I thank you for understanding that. So let me just say, I had a difficult life event back in March. It was a situation that I needed to confront, and it was it made me very scared, nervous. It wasn't anything I wanted to confront. I'm not one to make confrontations. It was just a very, very hard situation that was affecting someone that I love very much. Anyway, what happened is I do tend to struggle with just a general overall anxiety. I was an anxious kid, and I am an anxious adult. But it's always been to a place that I could manage. Well, when this life event happened in the spring, my heart started pounding a lot. And it would be whenever I would think about the situation or when I was absolutely in the situation, my heart would pound. And then it just was gradually getting worse and worse. It got to a place where I always was feeling anxious and my heart was pounding a lot. And so the way I described it to my husband, it's as if you're in a car and you look in your rearview mirror and you see a police officer with his lights on, and you look at your speedometer and you realize that you're speeding and he's pulled you over, and you know that heart pounding, oh my goodness, this is terrible, what's going to happen, feeling that you get in that moment. It got to a place where that's how I was feeling 12 hours a day. And so I realized I can't live like this. I've never been on medication before. I'm not against medication. It just wasn't anything I ever thought I would want to do because I was always very concerned about side effects, and I am a very sensitive person when it comes to what I put in my body. It doesn't take much for medications to affect me. So I made an appointment with a doctor. And we sat down and we talked about it, and she decided to she asked if I'd like to go on a very low dose of an antidepressant that is commonly used for anxiety. And I said that yes, I would like to try it because I had just gotten to a point where I was like, I can't live like this because it's no longer just when I'm thinking about the situation. It's literally all the time, from my neck down to my legs, like my whole body, my whole torso. I just felt so anxious and I was holding my body so tight that if the least little thing happened, I just was sore, because you're holding your muscles tight. And I was having more social anxiety. There just was a lot going on there. 2 months ago, I started this medication, and some of you probably know that when you start something like that, an antidepressant or anti anxiety medication, oftentimes it gets worse before it gets better. And that is definitely what happened to me, but I wanted to give it time. So this would have been probably the beginning of September. And what ended up happening was my heart would be pounding, like pounding hard all day and all night. And this went on for a week and a half. But I decided, my blood pressure was fine. So I decided to just wait it out for 2 weeks and to see if I saw improvement. So I did see improvement after about a week and a half. And I'm also trying now to give it the full 8 weeks and see what I end up feeling like. So right now, I feel like in the afternoons, I'm very settled and not feeling anxious, but I definitely have some anxiety, especially in the morning and at night. I just don't know what to expect from a medication, how much it's supposed to dull. Is it just supposed to make me functional, or is it supposed to completely take away anxiety? Of course, I don't want to take so much that all my other emotions are dead. So I'm just kind of wading my way through this, and I wanted to share that because I know that so many are on medication. I know that it can also be a taboo subject, and it shouldn't be. I'm struggling, and the doctor had something to help me. It doesn't mean that I don't have my faith. It doesn't mean that I don't pray. It doesn't mean that God doesn't help me through each and every moment. But just like if I have a tension headache, if I have a headache produced by stress, I'm going to take something for it. And it's the same thing. If I have something that's caused by stress, that's causing some physical symptoms, and I can deal with it while I try to deal with the stress event, then I'm going to do that. And my hope is that as I deal with the original event and come to terms with everything, and as medication helps to just calm me down, that maybe I can stay calm and be weaned off of it eventually. But if I can't, I can't. And I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm going to take the help that I can get, and it will make me more functional. It will help me to serve my family. And I just think it's worth it. It's worth it. I'm also very open to therapy. I've been in therapy before when I was in my 20s. I'm not afraid of therapy at all. It has been really hard to find therapists since 2020 around here. I don't know if it's the same where you are. So that's part of why I'm tired. It's just adjusting to the medication. And sometimes when it takes the anxiety away, I do get more tired, or I have less motivation to work. I do think some of the anxiety was actually keeping me moving, because it was almost like, a coping skill. If you can just keep working, keep moving, then you feel better, and it gives your brain a reason that everything is kind of whirring within you is, okay, if I'm running down the street, it makes sense that my heart would pound. So then my brain isn't freaking out, wondering and trying to come up with reasons why I feel anxious. I think sometimes when we deal with anxiety, it's just anxiety. There's no trigger. And so our brain is looking for a reason that this makes sense. And so we come up with things to be upset about. And I do think that that happens to me sometimes. So keeping busy definitely helps me with that. And so then when I had something that's calming me down, I had a harder time keeping busy. And I just honestly wanted to sit down and watch Netflix. So I just feel like I'm trying to re-find my balance again. YouTube is super important to me outside of my faith, and my family probably comes in a very close third. So I don't plan on going anywhere. I'm going to fight through this. And if you're struggling with anxiety, if you're struggling with a new medication, I just encourage you, always talk to your doctor. Don't ever hesitate. get the help that you need. And if you have a bad reaction to medication, I don't know that I did the wisest thing. Maybe I should have immediately gone back to the doctor. I always suggest people to talk to their doctor. That's what they're there for. It's why they get the big bucks. So we should never hesitate to talk. We're coming up on the holidays, of course. It's a busy time. It can be a very stressful time. And I want us to be in this together, and I want us to find joy together in it. Sometimes the busyness and the overwhelm can take over to the point where it's like, bah humbug, I don't even want Christmas. Have you ever felt that way? So I'd like to point at that with some future videos. This is going to be very real and raw because I feel like that is the only thing that really helps. Like, we have to be honest with each other, because when everybody is acting like it's just so easy and fun all the time, even when it's not, I mean, if it is easy and fun all the time, I think that's awesome. But when it's not, I really want to be there to help you, support you, encourage you. And by encouraging you, it does also encourage me and help me. It really helps me when I can just drop the curtain and be real and show you the struggle, show you what I'm going through too, because I know it helps you to feel like you're not alone. And then when you say that I'm not alone, then I have that comfort as well. So if that interests you, if you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead, click on that little subscribe button. It's totally free. Click on all notifications. YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video, because sometimes what will happen is, let's say that you really love this video, but then I put up a shop with me or something. Not that I do that very often, if at all. I don't think I've ever done one. But anyway, if I put up another video that you're not particularly interested in and you don't watch that, then what will happen is I'll kind of drop off your home page, because YouTube will put up whatever you watched last. They'll feed you more of that. So the only way to truly know when I'm uploading a new video is to subscribe. And then instead of just being on the home page, if you go and click on subscriptions, it will show you all of the channels that you have subscribed to. That way, even if you haven't watched a few of mine because I wasn't doing anything that interested you, you'll still know when I have uploaded a new video. Yvonne is almost done here. I've really appreciated her help. Boy, she really helped me. I mean, the kitchen and the bathroom, those are the two spots that you really want to be clean. So she is now in the downstairs bathroom, whereas she was in the upstairs bathroom before. So if you're keeping track, she helped me with the dishes, and then she cleaned both bathrooms. What an absolute blessing that is. Especially the upstairs bathroom where people are showering and getting ready for the day up there. And that one tends to look kind of gross because of the ceiling being half there and all that needs to be replaced. It's just not in its best form. So keeping that one clean is even more important right now to me. And then the downstairs bathroom, if anybody stops by or comes to visit, this is the bathroom they're going to be using. So it's always important for me to keep it clean. It's also our laundry room. It doubles as the laundry room. And there's a cabinet up over the washer and dryer where we keep all of our laundry supplies and towels and face cloths. And then the cleaners are in the vanity itself, as well as my makeup and toothpaste, toothbrushes, all that. My husband and I and my daughter Crecia tend to get ready for each day down in this bathroom. And then everybody else gets ready in the upstairs bathroom. So this one, I have already redone this bathroom. So it's looking pretty good, and it kind of tells you my style. That's actually polar white on the walls, but it has kind of a blue look. And that picture above Yvonne's head is a sailboat on the water. And I did do the peel and stick wallpaper in this one too, over where the washer and dryer is, because we had damage on the walls. So that stuff was really good at covering up damage. It was the Property Brothers. It's their brand, and I get it at Lowe's. It's thick. It is thick. And so it was really good with the texture and the design at covering up any problems that I had on the wall. So I also use collapsible laundry baskets so that we can tuck them between the washing machine and the wall. So it's nice not to have laundry baskets all over the house anymore. I definitely do not miss that. I used to have that all the time with socks, and now everybody's socks goes immediately to their room. I don't match socks anymore. They match their own, and that is my nice clean bathroom. This is that Optavia low carb chicken cacciatore. It looks so good. I'm taking out the bay leaf and then I can add the zucchini in. I actually had to add the zucchini ahead of time, a couple hours earlier than I should have because I was going to be out and about. And so what I did was I just let it sit on the top, and that kept it from completely dissolving. So it steamed, but it did not overcook. So that is just a little trick for you. Doesn't that look gorgeous? It was so very good. Hey, thanks so much for being with me and for being a listening ear. Remember, as always, that God loves you, and I love you too, and I can't wait to see you next time.